of the other things was this realm that I was in. It was so psychedelic. That was one of the most striking things about it. Was like everything's sort of moving, and this place was like a psychedelic wonderland. Something kind of interesting observation that I made many, many years later was there seemed to be like some kind of unreal quality to what I was seeing in this place. It seemed kind of hyper real or something. And then, once I woke up and realized like, okay, that wasn't just a dream, I started analyzing it a little differently. And one of those main things that I came to was like, oh man, you know why it looks unreal? It's because there's no shadows. In this realm, shadows taking a role in everything that we see, adding to what our brain considers real in its perception of light. And in that place, I call it the place. In the place, the spirit realm, there's no shadows, And that was kind of a cool observation as a sort of empirically minded person to have that kind of experience and then be able to come back and be like, oh yeah, like I can dig that. Like why it looked sort of hyper real was because there was no shadows. And I presume, because I did have this impression that everything that I was seeing was made of light or was made of something above light, like plasma, or maybe something above plasma, I don't know. Because in the beginning of the dream, when I first became aware, sort of lucid that I was dreaming, it was darkness. I'm in this dark place at first. And then, when everything lit up, I do kind of see it now as like plasma has different modes. Plasma has a dark mode where you can't see it. Plasma that then suddenly lights up. When that being came towards me, it was like everything suddenly lit up, and I could see that realm. So yeah, there was the time dilation, the lack of shadows, and the psychedelic nature of this place. And then there was like the download aspect. When I was first sort of coming to terms with the reality of this situation, it was like, oh yeah, okay, so people have near-death experiences. They're describing all of these very similar things. They often describe, like a download, or they suddenly have access to all this information. And then there's a whole world of people who have had exactly my experience. Not when I say exactly, it's like everybody's a little different, but